everyone. This is Randy Curry, founder and executive director of InsiderMusicTrivia.com with another episode of Music Industry Insider Interviews. We're here today with Mr. Tom Lodge. He's responsible for helping to keep the British rock and roll scene alive and being banned when it was being banned in the UK government in the early 60s. Without his program aboard the Caroline, the British invasion that swept the U.S. and entire world might not have happened. Hello, Tom, and thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Randy. I'm very, very pleased to be with you.
Well, thank you so much. We do appreciate you doing this interview with us today. Tom, give us a little background on yourself, where you grew up, when you got interested in music, and the chain of events that led to you becoming a radio announcer in the 60s.
Okay. I was born in England, and then because of the war, we became evacuees, and I lived from 4 years old until 10 in Virginia, in the very wild part of Virginia. And then we went back to England, and as a boy, I didn't like England. So on my 18th birthday, at the moment I was legally independent, I first of all sailed to Canada and became a cowboy.
Really?
Yeah, I became a cowboy. That was my dream, to be a cowboy. But then later on, I went up to Great Slave Lake in the Arctic, and there's many adventures because I worked in a gold mine. I did commercial fishing. I almost died out on the ice. And there's a lot of stories happening there. But when I was working in the gold mine in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories, these guys came into town, and they opened a radio station for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and I applied to be an announcer on their radio station, and I got the job. And so that was my introduction into radio. And then after a year, I went and opened another station in Fort Smith, and then I became a foreign correspondent in London. Now, here's where it begins. While I was in London, I was sending information over to Canada for the CBC, and one day I walked into this pub to have a pint, and the music that was playing was Perry Como's What Did Delaware? And I said to the bartender, that's pretty awful music, because I was just wrapped up in rock and roll at the time. This was 1964, so rock and roll had already started with Elvis back in the 50s, and then being squashed by the American establishment by sending Elvis to the army and putting Chuck Berry in jail and closing a lot of the rock and roll people. And if you listen to the rock and roll that happened between the late 50s and early 60s, it was bubble gum. It was teeny bopper stuff. It was rubbish.
Right.
And then, at least in my opinion, anyway. And then I walked into this pub, and I didn't like the music that was playing. And there was this fellow sitting at the bar, and he said, "Don't you be worrying. We're soon going to be changing that." And I said, "How are you going to do that?" He said, "We got a ship off the coast, and we're going to be broadcasting rock and roll." I said, "Really? Can I join you?" He said, "Are you in radio?" I said, "Yes, I'm in radio." And we shook hands, and I was employed on Radio Caroline. And a few days later, I went out to the ship, and I started broadcasting from the ship.
The excerpt you just listened to is but a small portion of a fabulous interview with a man that helped launch rock and roll's British invasion of the 1960s. The entire interview is available at our exclusive membership website at InsiderMusicTrivia.com. There you will find audio and video interviews, info on inside the music industry, the local music scene, multiple music genres and categories, music news and updates, recording artists and entertainers, surveys, contests and prizes, tribute to music legends, and much more. Besides bridging the gap between legendary recording artists and their fans, InsiderMusicTrivia.com plans to do something no one else has ever done before. We're going to give away backstage passes, CDs, DVDs, t-shirts and caps, signed photographs, concert tickets, live simulcasts, weekend getaways for two, Just go to www.insidermusictrivia.com, register as a free member, subscribe to our newsletter, and start enjoying everything IMT has to offer its members. And I'll see you on the inside at insidermusictrivia.com.